Coba ngomong.
Halo.
Coba ngomong.
Halo. Aku mau pipis. Aku mau pipis semua. Aku nggak tahu kenapa update. Wow. Oke guys. Oke, aku mau bikin path buat villagernya karena aku mau bikin village. Oke, ini akan jadi kolam renang. Gak suara lagunya. Kasur. Kenapa aku kayak keluar deh? Ini mau malam ya, ayo kita tidur. Kenapa clumsy banget? Kenapa aku suka banget deh suaranya? Ini aku main di Java. Nah. Mati water jadi kayak belajar ya, karena aku emang belajar. Jadi belajar makan water. Udah. Bersihin. Nah, udah putih sekarang. Waktunya tidur. Nah, checkpoint. Udah. Kenapa aku bangunnya siang-siang? Kayaknya nih di sini betul lantern. Mana lanternku? Atau lantern ini? Kayaknya. Kayak gitu ya. Whoops, harusnya kayak gitu. Apa suaranya aneh kalau ditaruh? Suaranya kayak stone. Tapi suaranya kayak kaca kalau selesai. Kalau hancurin. Oke, slap. Nah, slap yang aku butuh. Ini yang biru ini bagus ya, karena kan kayak kolam renang. Oke. Ini belum dibersihin. Nah, udah selesai. Karena ini juga. Sudah. Aku dapat achievement, kaget aku. Dan aku butuh kaca apa ya? Kaca putih biasa. Aku mau lihat apa bedanya ini sama beda deh dari yang biasa ini. Tuh kayak ada garis-garisnya yang halangin. Ini lebih bagus lagi. Tahu kayak maju gitu. Terus aku butuh survival menu, survival inventory harusnya ya kan. Aku tuh lantern biasa nanti pakai torch aja. Pakai lantern aja lebih bagus lantern itu. Kenapa aku suka banget deh suaranya. Oh my god. Cobblestone, prismarine. Nah, abang aku suka batuannya. Wait. Kenapa aku tiba-tiba main deh? Nah, aku belum. Tapi aku kan juga nonton itu sebentar. Tarik kantong, tarik kantong, tarik kantong, tarik kantong. Maka aku dapat semuanya. Tarik kantong, tarik kantong, tarik kantong, tarik kantong. Putting fences so the villager don't go out because kenapa aku tiba-tiba nanti aku taruh fence karena takutnya nanti villager keluar. Nanti di final end video ini aku akan spawn villager. Nah, gitu. Tunggu sebentar, aku mau kayak beresin inventory aku, maksudnya hardware aku. Nah, aku bilangnya tiba-tiba salah ya, tahu. Oke, taruh di sini. Ups. Kau bisa lihat di pojok situ ada itunya yang sebelah sini. Sini. Oke. Aku tahu itu agak gangguin, maaf ya. Oke, terus taruh biar terang. Nah, bagus. Ups. Oke, taruh lenternya di pojok. Ya bang. Sini pojok sini. Ini pojok sini juga. Di sini ini agak random tapi nggak apa-apa. Biar terang aja karena agak jauh ya. Jadi harusnya ya. Nah, sini. Ini dan sini. Dan di sini, dan sini, whoops, terlalu dekat di sini, terus sini. Oke. Apa suaranya kecil banget? Yay. Taruh di sini kayaknya. Nah, aku harus banget. Oke, dan taruh di sini dan di sini atau di sini. Whoops. Di sini. Sini. Oh. Whoops. Aku butuh ini. Taruh di sini. Dan ini taruh di sini. Oke, ini bagus. Ya kan? Ya kan, guys? Ya. Aku suka banget main ini. Whoops. Whoops. Apa? Itu kenapa bagus banget ya suaranya tuh? Aku juga suara. Dan oke. taruh sini deh. Keluar air, keluar. Whoops. Oke, percikan. Oke. Nah, lebih baik. Oke. Aku lupa aku mau ngapain. Ngapain ya? Karena aku spawnnya di jungle, aku bingung karena jungle-nya besar banget. Tuh aku ya, jungle-nya besar. Kenapa ada satu oak forest di situ? Mana elytra aku? Oh, aku dapat achievement. Tang. Aku mau bilang mami, daddy, Kimi dan Feli. Aku namanya Feli karena channelnya bacaannya Gaming Feli, dan itu nama aku Feli tapi nggak pakai gaming. Oke, aku mau naikin ini deh. Oke. Ini harus ini. Ini deh. Sambung gitu. Wala, ada kaca di situ. Aku dapat dong, bilang itu cringe banget. Oke, whoops. Gentengnya mau ke gimana? Slap aja deh. Kenapa aku bilang slap, aneh? Atau bener? Ini bagus. Ini aja deh. Ini ya. Nah, yang birds. Aku mau pelangi. Aku mau pelangi. Oke, pertama merah, oranye, dan kuning. Hijau ada kan? Hijau, biru, ungu, dan pink. Lantur. Nah sini. Whoops. Tang tung ting ting. Tak tang tung ting. Oh, tang tang ting ting tang tang ting tang ting ting tang. Apa bagus banget. Aku mau tidur lagi. Ambil makan wortel. Oops. Bob, lupa mandi. Five later. Ayo. Ah. Oops. Klik kanan, klik kiri. Aku penasaran malah jadi aku lancurin. Masa ini? Oke. Terus oranye. Makan oranye ya. Oke, aku pakai acacia karena ya ini sap yang oranye doang, nggak di kuning. Misalnya di 1.1 bikinnya karena butuh bambu sap. Namanya bambu sap. Whoops. Kenapa suaranya kayak blessing wood itu di real life deh. Blessing ini taruh wood di real life. Kenapa kayak gitu ya suaranya? Oke. Plap plup plip plap plup plap. Ah. Hijau. Whoops. Kayaknya hijau aku pakai mosi cobblestone slab karena itu ada hijaunya. Terus bisa kayak gitu. sudah selesai tapi jadinya agak aneh, lalu biarin aja kan. Tunggu aku dulu. Oke. Range update itu kayak ada sih, kayak ada range di Minecraft biar kayak aku bisa maju ini ke sini karena sayangnya halang. Aku bisa taruh sama dia. Oops.
one. The mending book is an amazing treasure item you can get from fishing, but is it the rarest? Well, no. The rarest item you can obtain from fishing is 10 ink sacs, as there's only a 1 in 1,000 chance to catch 10 of them at one time. While it is the rarest catch, it's pretty disappointing. Everyone knows that there is a 1 in 8 chance of you hatching a baby chicken from an egg. But did you know that there is a 1 in 256 chance of 4 chickens spawning from a single egg? But if you thought that was rare, it gets even rarer. To get 1 chicken per egg from 16 eggs in a row is extremely rare. This is due to there only being a 1 in 200 trillion chance for all 16 eggs to hatch a baby chicken. If this has happened to you, then you're just the luckiest Minecraft player alive. It's possible to find a naturally generated diamond block in your Minecraft world. If you're lucky enough, a woodland mansion can generate with the obsidian room. If you find this room, you can find a diamond block concealed within the obsidian. Now, this isn't the only room where you can find a diamond block within the mansion, as you can also find the lava room. If you find the lava room, then clear the lava out within the glass case and you'll find yourself another diamond block. These 2 rooms are the only places you can find a diamond block, making this very rare. When your Eye of Ender breaks, it's somewhat frustrating, especially if you arrive at the stronghold and no longer have enough for the portal. However, if you're insanely lucky, there is a 1 in 1 trillion chance of the end portal spawning with all 12 Eyes of Ender. Zombies are a very common hostile mob that you're likely to encounter in your world. However, there is a 0.04% chance for a zombie to spawn wearing diamond armor. Let's just hope they're not too strong and end up costing you your diamonds. Have you ever encountered the same Minecraft world twice despite generating a new world? Well, lucky you, as there is only a 1 in 18 quintillion chance for you to get the same Minecraft seed twice. A vast majority of sheep are white. Some are brown, grey, light grey, and black. However, there is also a 0.164% chance of finding a pink sheep in your Minecraft world. But if you thought the normal pink sheep was rare, you should try finding the baby variant. This is due to there only being a 0.0082% chance of finding a baby pink sheep in your world. There was once a time where you could craft enchanted golden apples with 8 gold blocks and an apple. Mojang then completely scrapped this feature, as they're now only a rare item you can find in chests. The chance rate of finding an enchanted golden apple ranges from different structures. I'm really craving some soup. If only I had a bowl. I know, I'll just wait for this turtle to be struck by lightning. Yep, there is a chance bowls can drop from turtles when they're struck by lightning, because that's, normal. Pandas are a fairly rare mob, as they can only spawn in jungle biomes with 7 different variants. However, there's one panda that only has a 2.04% chance of spawning, and that is the brown panda. Deep slate coal ore is very hard to find in the overworld. This is because normal coal ore only generates at Y levels 0 and above. This means only a small percentage of coal ore will be the deep slate variant, as deep slate doesn't start generating until Y levels 7 and below. An ore that's even rarer though is deep slate emerald ore. In fact, this ore is so rare that it's taken the record of being the rarest ore in Minecraft. Despite how rare this ore is, you'll never believe what this Reddit user found. While exploring a mineshaft, user Infinity Stone stumbled across deep slate emerald ore and regular emerald ore next to each other, which is just insane. Wait, you thought that was rare? Well, how about finding 4 deep slate emerald ores in a single chunk? That's right, this Reddit user managed to stumble across 4 of these deep slate emeralds in the corner of a chunk. This might be the rarest ore find in the history of Minecraft. You wouldn't think it, but large ferns are pretty rare, as you can only find them in Tiger Village chests, only having an 18% chance of spawning. So if you manage to find a large fern in item form without shearing, then you're pretty lucky. Not sure why you would want to do this, but fair enough. Obtaining the dragon egg from the Ender Dragon is quite an achievement. This egg soon begins to feel even more valuable, as it's considered the rarest block in Minecraft. Back in the earlier days of Minecraft, the rarest biome in the game was the modified jungle edge. This biome was a variant of the jungle biome that only covered a millionth or 0.0001% of the Minecraft overworld. In other words, if you found this biome, you were extremely lucky. We've all seen apples and saplings drop from tree leaves, but have you ever seen them drop from the same leaf block? If so, you're pretty lucky, as there's only a 0.00025% chance of this occurring. The rarest mob you can ever find lives in Minecraft Minecraft Bedrock Edition. The mob I'm talking about is the baby husk wearing full diamond armor that's holding a sword while riding a brown panda. And how rare is this mob? Well, it only has a 3.427 trillion chance of spawning, so good luck with that. Have you ever found a fossil structure? Yeah, me neither. So as of the 1.18 update, there are two types of fossils you can find. One fossil will generate with coal ore between height levels 0 and 320, while the other fossil can generate with diamond ore between levels -63 to -8. Not only that, but fossils only have a 1 in 64 chance to generate per chunk, making them the rarest structure in Minecraft. Mushroom Islands are a pretty rare biome you can find in your Minecraft world. But have you ever encountered a mushroom biome that isn't an island but is in fact landlocked? If you have, then you are insanely lucky. While it's a possible event, it's not really supposed to happen. Speaking of the mushroom biome, let's talk about the mushroom cows themselves. Typically, these cows are very red, but there is also a chance of coming across a brown mushroom. This event can only occur when a regular mushroom has been struck by lightning. Actually, that's not strictly true, as there's also a 1 in 1024 chance to breed a regular mushroom to get a brown variant. Back in the earlier days of Minecraft, cocoa beans were a very rare and difficult item to come by. This is because cocoa beans at the time could only be found in dungeon chests, only having a 50% chance to spawn in them. I honestly don't miss this feature. You wouldn't think bells are a rare item as you find them in every village. However, finding a bell in item form is a lot harder, as there's only a 1.4% chance to find one in a ruined portal chest. These things are so obnoxious, man. The spider jockey is a very rare and old school mob, as it's been in the game since the alpha days. With only a 1% chance of it spawning, it was for the longest time the rarest mob in the game. Nowadays, we have much rarer mobs, but the spider jockey will forever remain iconic. Huge mushrooms are tree-like structures made of mushroom blocks. Now, a huge mushroom's height is normally between 5 and 7 blocks, but there's a really small chance to find mushrooms at twice the height. That's right, if you're lucky enough, you might have a Minecraft world that contains a huge mushroom that's up to 13 blocks tall. Just look at it, man. I could cry at how beautiful this looks. During the Halloween event, there is a 2.5% chance you can come across zombies, skeletons, and a few other mobs wearing pumpkins on their heads. It looks a bit goofy if you ask me. It's always fun to find a dungeon with a spawner, but could you imagine finding a triple spawner? Well, Reddit user Hurricane Husky was exploring when they found a triple interconnected dungeon. You're definitely gonna have a very powerful XP farm having all 3 of these spawners. It's pretty normal by Minecraft standards to find a bed, but did you know it's possible to find half beds? This event is very rare as it's usually a bug with the world generation. Some players have even found double half beds. Back in the earlier days of Minecraft, a bug existed in the game when it came to grass. So within your world, there was a grass variant you could encounter that was extremely rare, and it was known as snowy grass. This only occurred when an enderman picked up a grass block with snow on top and placed it back down again. Now, the chances are you probably never encountered this bug, as there was only a 0.0001% chance of it happening. I have to say though, this snowy grass did look really weird. The poisonous potato is the most useless item in Minecraft. However, it's also quite rare, as you only have a 2% chance of getting this potato. Though I'm not really sure you'd want to get this anyway because, you know, poisonous? Minecraft rabbits are pretty cute, right? I'm sorry, little buddy, I'm gonna have to kill you. Oh, I didn't get it. I'm after the rabbit's foot, which only has a 10% chance of dropping when you kill a rabbit. I'm sure you've all come across a few creepers in your Minecraft worlds, but have you ever come across a charged creeper? If the answer's yes, then you are very lucky, as a naturally generated charged creeper isn't easy to find, as a lightning strike needs to hit a regular creeper within 4 blocks. And since there's only a 1% chance of a thunderstorm occurring, you might be waiting a while. If you do come across a charged creeper and you're brave enough to have it follow you, now is the best chance of obtaining a rare mob head. This is because if a zombie, skeleton, creeper, wither skeleton, or piglin are blown up by a charged creeper, then you'll obtain their mob head. Back in the earlier days of Minecraft, mossy cobblestone used to be one of the rarest blocks in the game. This was because in the beta days, mossy cobblestone was not craftable, and the only place you could find the block was within a dungeon. And because dungeons were hard to come across in beta, it made obtaining mossy cobblestone microphone a bit of a challenge. We all know this sound. It's the most generic goat horn which you can get from any goat. However, there are 4 goat horn variants that you can only obtain from screaming goats, which are a variant of goat that only has a 2% chance to spawn. Conduits aren't an easy item to obtain, as the materials you need to craft them are quite rare. You need 8 Nautilus shells, which are rarely dropped by drowns, or you can do it the boring way by fishing, and then you need a heart of the sea, which you can only find through treasure chests, and as you know, they're quite hard to come by. If you're on your villain arc, then this is the horse you want in Minecraft. However, it is quite rare, as you need to come across a trap horse event which can only spawn during thunderstorms. Everyone loves a bit of diamond ore, especially when you find a large vein of it. Now, the largest vein of diamond ore that you can find is 64 diamond ore. This only occurs when the corners of 8 different chunks generate with diamond ore, and the chances of this happening are, well, they're not great, as it's a 1 in 17 million chance. We've all been in a few thunderstorms in Minecraft, but have you ever actually been struck by lightning? Well, the chances of a player being struck by lightning is extremely rare, as there's only a 0.02% chance of this happening. To be honest, you're probably just better off using a lightning rod. Have you ever seen a snow golem spawn naturally? Well, you probably haven't, as this could only happen in older versions of the game, as carved pumpkins used to naturally generate, so if they happened to spawn on snow blocks or an enderman placed it down, then it would spawn a snow golem. This might be the rarest find in Minecraft ever. This is a quintuple pig spawner. This happens because a spider spawner generates while a chest attempts to generate inside the spawner, and then the code gets overwritten, which causes 5 pig spawners to generate around this chest. Did you get all that? Because I even confused myself, I can't lie. Have you ever seen another mob ride a strider? Well, if you've seen a baby strider riding a normal strider, then you're pretty lucky, as there's only a 1 in 10 chance of this happening. But if you think that is rare, then you haven't seen the 4 striders riding one another. This Reddit user found 4 striders on top of each other, and given there's a 1 in 10 chance of a baby strider riding one, that means there's a 1 in 40 chance of this happening. It also looks completely ridiculous, I can't lie. What's the rarest villager in Minecraft? Some might say it's the Fletcher, as they're the least common villager profession. However, the rarest villager in the entire game is the swamp villager, as a village has a very low chance of spawning inside of a swamp, making it possible to encounter them. You wouldn't think a cactus is particularly rare. Well, that's because they're not. However, a group of Minecrafters once sought out the challenge to find the tallest cactus in the game. They spent hours, days, weeks searching through lots of seeds, and they ended up finding a record-breaking 20-block tall cactus. Seriously, the chances of finding this is completely insane. And finally, the rarest thing in all of Minecraft to appear is Herobrine. That's right, there is a 1 in 500 gazillion chance Herobrine will appear in your world. Want to learn some secret Easter eggs in Minecraft? Well, you can do so by watching the video right here.
Okay, ako muna magbasa English, okay? And then, question, that's how you say it, because I'm confused.
Minecraft is full of secrets. Evokers can change sheep colors, mobs can wear pumpkins, and fence gates are glasses? So today I bring you 37 secret things you didn't know in Minecraft. During the Halloween event between October 20th and the 3rd of November, bats can spawn at a light level of 6 or less instead of the usual 3 or less. So during Halloween, you will see a lot more bats, which is very spooky. The Halloween event doesn't just increase the quantity of bats, it also increases the chances of encountering hostile mobs during the day. This is because mobs such as zombies, zombie villagers, skeletons, and strays will sometimes spawn with pumpkins or jack-o'-lanterns on their head. This makes playing Minecraft during Halloween a lot more dangerous, as the pumpkins will prevent the mobs from burning during the day. With that said, it is an extra way to gather pumpkins, as any of these mobs killed with a looting sword have a chance to drop these pumpkins upon death. Minecraft splashes are always full of secret messages and hidden details, and the Halloween event is no different, as on Halloween itself the only splash that will appear will say "ooh" spooky. Okay, I don't know if that was scary or just cringe. Probably a bit of both, to be honest. I don't know about you, but I always like Minecraft from December 24th to the 26th. It just feels very Christmassy. That's right, during Christmas time, chests and double chests are wrapped up to resemble Christmas presents. I just hope you don't find a lump of coal in your chest. Remember that spooky splash text that only shows on Halloween? Well, during Christmas Day, the only splash that shows is Merry Xmas, which is a bit nicer and doesn't give me the chills. In Minecraft, there is a secret banner pattern that displays the old Mojang logo. To create this banner design, it's pretty expensive, as it requires an enchanted golden apple. What's interesting is when you create this banner design, it's labeled as the Thing banner pattern. It's called this because the direct translation of Mojang means gadget or thing. The Nether contains a variety of creepy biomes, with each biome containing their own disturbing ambient sounds. But one biome that stands out in particular in the Nether is the Crimson Forest. This is because the ambient sounds used within the Crimson Forest biome were actually created by using balloons. Wow, I never thought they could make balloons sound so creepy. Guys, I have something to reveal to you. I'm a unicorn. That's right, there's a command in Minecraft that lets you wear certain items on your head, so you can become a unicorn, chew your favorite bone, or even have some wooden glasses. Is this fence gate going to give me a splinter? It better not. The Killer Bunny is a strange mob in Minecraft. When the Killer Bunny was first added, it had a 1 in 2,500 chance to spawn naturally in your world. The Killer Rabbit was completely hostile, dealing 4 hearts of damage to the player. In a later version, the Killer Rabbit was removed and became an unused mob, and now you can only spawn it in using commands. The reason for the Killer Bunny's removal was because Jeb said it had been referenced in too many games and was pretty much a random death event that didn't belong in Minecraft. This confirms that the Killer Rabbit was only added to Minecraft as a joke and not a serious mob that belonged in the game. I mean, after all, the Killer Bunny is a reference to the Rabbit of Kerbanog from Monty Python and the Holy Grail. I think the Killer Bunny should have stayed personally. It would have been pretty funny to die to a rabbit. Minecraft developers love to leave their signatures in the strangest of places. For example, you can find the word Surge in an unused area of the armor stand texture, which is to give credit to the original creator of armor stands, who is Surge. In Minecraft, there is a cool Easter egg to do with evokers and sheep. So if an evoker sees a blue sheep, it will turn it into a red sheep while uttering the phrase "Wooloo." That was hard to say without laughing, I can't lie. Now, this evoker Easter egg is a direct reference to the priest unit from Age of Empires 2, where they would utter the phrase "Woolaloo" while converting their enemy units to their side while simultaneously changing their color. Minecraft doesn't just have Easter eggs from Age of Empires, there's also a reference with Mario 64. That's right, the behavior of the Elytra item in Minecraft is actually a direct reference to the wing cap item that Mario uses in Mario 64. This Minecraft cake is a lie, or at least that's what it used to be. So back in the earlier days of Minecraft, when crafting a cake, you could obtain an achievement that was simply called The Lie. Now, this cake achievement is a direct reference to the "cake is a lie" catchphrase from the popular video game Portal. Have you ever tried to name a Vindicator Johnny? Well, if you haven't, then don't bother, because they become extremely aggressive and will attack any mob and player within sight. The only exceptions are Illagers and Ghasts. They don't care about them. This name tag Easter egg is a reference to the movie The Shining, with the infamous quote, "Here's Johnny, here's Anthony, subscribe." There is a secret rabbit in Minecraft, and no, I'm not talking about the Killer Bunny. So if you rename any rabbit in your world Toast, then its texture will completely change to this. This texture is a reference to user XYZen420, who asked Ryan Holtz, the creator of rabbits, to make this skin look like his girlfriend's lost rabbit. This Easter egg served as a nice little memorial for Toast. Next time you're looking at an end crystal, pay close attention to the symbols. At first glance, it just looks like gibberish, but when you take the textures and put them in the correct order, it almost appears as if it's spelling out Mojang. Okay, this one's actually really cool. There's so much detail in this game, man. Minecraft developers aren't the only ones that like to leave their little signatures in the game. That's right, the Ghast mob doesn't have a secret signature with its texture, but with the sound it makes. This is because the sounds Ghast make are taken from C418's Cat, who is the composer of Minecraft's original soundtrack. So we all know that the cave sounds in Minecraft are some of the creepiest ambient sounds that are found in the game.
Oh my gosh, guys, the weather is literally giving me the most overpowered loot ever. That is so rare.
These are the funniest fake Minecraft speedruns of all time. The first speedrunner begins by crafting tools and finding a village, where he finds a potion of water breathing in this chest, which is not only impossible to find in a village chest, but remember this for later. The speedrunner then makes his way to find a ruined portal, but notice how dark the sky already is. A day in Minecraft lasts a full 10 minutes, while it's already nighttime just 4 minutes into the speedrun. And when the speedrunner reaches the ruined portal, notice these 2 blocks of crying obsidian, which seem to just disappear after a few seconds later. However, after replaying this in slow motion, we can clearly see the speedrunner cut the video. Now, once in the nether, the speedrunner spawns suspiciously close to a fortress, where he doesn't even get the achievement for entering into it, meaning he already visited this fortress before he started recording. And when the speedrunner goes to get blaze rods, look at the abnormal amount of blazes in the spawner, which could be explained by a sneakily placed second blaze spawner hiding in the roof, which he clearly placed using creative mode, which allows this speedrunner to get 7 rods super easily. But the runner still needs to find a bastion when the speedrunner decides to randomly add in a hand cam. However, he should have been more careful in editing, because at a brief second we can see a command which he used to locate this bastion, which explains him finding it so easily and getting pearls super fast. He then travels back to the overworld, where he jumps in a boat and uses his water breathing potion from earlier to dig down at a very specific spot, which just so happens to drop into the stronghold. This is the wall of a normal stronghold in Minecraft, but look at the wall in his speedrun, meaning he clearly messed with this in creative mode. Not to mention, it's missing a silverfish spawner in the end portal room, which explains him breaking the wall and finding a chest with extremely overpowered gear. And this makes the end fight super easy, so we're moving on. This next speedrunner is attempting the record for a 1.7.9 Minecraft speedrun. Remember the specific version that he's speedrunning. The run starts off and our speedrunner finds a desert village, where he goes to loot some beds. But do you notice something as he's breaking this hay? This is the hand size for a normal Minecraft skin versus a slim Minecraft skin, which he's using. But slim Minecraft skins were only released after 1.8, when the speedrunner claimed to be speedrunning Minecraft 1.7. This is obviously fake, as the speedrunner's trying to gain an advantage by running a newer version of Minecraft. He then loots the village and travels more, until he finds a mansion, which was also released way after 1.7 in Minecraft. But do you notice something strange about the mansion? The carpet here is light gray, instead of being all red, meaning the speedrunner clearly changed these blocks in creative mode. And it's no surprise when there's a chest filled with super overpowered items buried underneath. He then travels to find a ruined portal, where he gets the exact amount of obsidian he needs to complete it, and happens to spawn directly into a bastion. After collecting loot, the speedrunner begins to trade with the piglin, and manages to get 32 ender pearls from a single piglin, which is almost impossible. The speedrunner then proceeds to leave the nether, and you've got to be kidding me. And after entering the end, the run's normal, we're moving on. Next speedrunner starts off normally with the runner searching for a shipwreck, and the speedrunner is even bragging about how easy the run is gonna be.
Oh, this is about to be so easy.
But as the speedrunner is looting the chest, take a closer look at his face cam. The speedrunner appears to fix his hair. However, his character is moving at the exact same time, meaning this isn't actually his gameplay. Moving on with the run, the speedrunner continues by finding an underwater ruined portal and making his way into the nether, where he gets incredibly lucky by finding a bastion extremely quickly, and on top of that, a fortress extremely quickly too. But pause. This is the Minecraft leaderboard for 1.16 random seed in Minecraft. And if we look all the way down to position 100, does this gameplay look familiar? The speedrunner clearly put his face cam over this speedrunner's gameplay, which explains why the character still moved while his hands were clearly off the keyboard. And if his acting wasn't any worse, the speedrunner appears to be talking to someone off camera while he's literally fighting the Ender Dragon. This next speedrun begins with the runner mining wood and making some tools, where he locates a nearby village. But for a split second, we can see a very strange item in his inventory. Remember this for later. The speedrunner goes around the village houses until he reaches the blacksmith, where he not only finds a chest with a water bucket, but a portal? How is he at a lava pool? After forming his nether portal, he then enters into the nether, where he locates a nearby fortress, but only decides to kill a single blaze. And he also finds an ender pearl at a very suspicious and obviously fake chest in the fortress, which he clearly placed in creative mode. And when he turns around, he finds another portal, which leads him straight back to the nether portal. Now, with only one eye of ender, the speedrunner begins to locate the stronghold. And once he does, he digs down and enters the end portal room, where the end portal has 11 eyes of ender already placed, which has over a 1 in 9 billion chance of happening. But the speedrunner has no beds, so how is he gonna kill the ender dragon? Well, do you remember earlier in the speedrun where he had a very interesting item in his inventory? Well, it turns out to be a detonator, and I'll just let the footage speak for itself. This next speedrun begins with our speedrunner mining wood and making tools, but notice how he already has XP before he finishes breaking the wood, clearly showing that he tampered with the worlds before recording. He then makes his way to a nearby village, where he begins to loot beds and get hay, and they also find a chest that contains exactly 6 pieces of obsidian. Remember this for later. The speedrunner then decides to head to the nether, but doesn't decide to search for a ruins portal, but goes to a very specific spot on the grass that has clearly already been marked by this piece of dirt. But they only have 6 obsidian, when another portal clearly requires 10 to be created. And what the heck? This next speedrunner spawns in, but immediately there's something off. This is the angle when you spawn in for a normal Minecraft speedrun, but you can clearly see he is angled slightly facing up, meaning he's already generated this world. He then makes his way to a nearby village, where there is not 1, 2, but 3 iron golems, when a normal village only spawns a max of 1. So the speedrunner collects some beds and loots some chests before making his way to a nearby lava pool. And he starts to make the nether portal using a water bucket, but just seconds before we can see he didn't even have a water bucket in his inventory. But if you replay this clip in slow motion, you can see a slight cut in the recording, meaning the speedrunner got the water bucket off camera. The speedrunner then enters the nether, where he looks for a nearby fortress, and after collecting 7 blaze rods, he heads towards a bastion to trade for pearls. But take a closer look at this specific piglin, which seems just a little off. When comparing side by side to a real piglin, you can tell that it's literally just another player in a piglin skin, which explains him getting 32 ender pearls from a single trade. He then makes his way back to the overworld, where he spawns into a completely normal beach, but there's 1 piece of sandstone, which the speedrunner clearly marked out earlier in the run, which explains him digging straight down into the stronghold. So he puts his eyes into the portal, and the rest is normal. We're moving on. Now this next speedrun might be one of the funniest I've ever seen. Like the first 2, this one starts out pretty normally, and our speedrunner runs to collect some wood, but he decides to break this random block, and guess what happens to be under? A chest with an insane amount of diamonds and iron. Anyway, we can look past it as our speedrunner is making his way over to a village. He even starts to break beds, which seems pretty legit. Now after the village, our speedrunner decides to dig straight down, and then lands in a room with an underground ruin portal. Okay, wait, is this even possible? With some creative mode shenanigans out of the way, our speedrunner is somehow in the nether, and things get intense when he has to fight some blazes. Oops, yeah, I don't think this guy was supposed to die. Not to fear, because our speedrunner spawns back in and is suddenly in the stronghold. What is going on? After some more searching, he reaches the end portal and is in the end now. I'm so confused. The speedrunner decides to use the bed strategy to kill the ender dragon, and it actually worked, so congrats with that. Just not on any of the other cheating you did begin the speedrun. Next speedrunner starts off by breaking wood and making some tools, where they then find a nearby village, where they enter a blacksmith house and find an enchanting table, which don't spawn in blacksmiths. He also then conveniently finds a netherite sword and bottles of enchanting in the chest right beside it, which have clearly been placed in creative mode. Now after enchanting his sword, he looks to kill an iron golem. Is that a diamond golem that literally drops diamonds when killed? He then needs to find a nearby ruined portal. And is that just me, or does that not look like a real ruined portal at all? And the portal is assured to be fake due to there being a trap chest instead of a normal chest. Now once entering the nether, the speedrunner needs to find a fortress, where he digs into this wall, turns around, and magically finds one. But this fortress was clearly not here when he spawned in. The speedrunner then finds a blaze spawner. However, this is clearly not where a normal blaze spawner is usually located, meaning the speedrunner placed this here in creative mode. After collecting all of his blaze rods, the speedrunner makes the interesting choice of heading back to the overworld, without ever going to a bastion where normal speedrunners get ender pearls. However, when he spawns back in, he somehow has 16 ender pearls, which he must have just gotten off camera. The speedrunner then attempts a known speedrun technique known as triangulation. However, when comparing his technique to a real speedrun, he clearly has no idea what he's doing and he's just throwing the eyes in random directions. But he somehow still comes up with the exact spot to dig down from. And what do you know? This leads him straight to the end portal room. The speedrunner clearly didn't use triangulation, but located this using spectator mode. And once the speedrunner enters the end, he finds a random chest with beds where he spawns, which is clearly fake, so let's just move on. This next speedrunner begins by crafting some tools and finding a desert pyramid, where he starts to loot chests, but take a closer look at this specific chest. There is a red outline around the log, meaning it's a trap chest, not a real chest, meaning he placed it in creative mode. And the speedrunner also gets a blaze rod in the chest, which is impossible. Blaze rods can't spawn in desert temples. And when he finds a nearby lava pool, the speedrunner is having a lot of trouble building the portal. So he decides to look up a YouTube tutorial on how to do it during his speedrun, which would clearly be wasting way too much time in a real speedrun. After finishing the portal, he makes his way to the nether, where he finds a fortress and collects some blaze rods. But when he goes to the bastion, he only collects 4 ender pearls instead of the usual 12 to 16. Remember the specific amount of pearls for later. The speedrunner makes his way back to the overworld, where he immediately digs down at a seemingly random spot, which just so happens to drop him straight into the stronghold. But take a closer look at the floor. This is the floor of a real stronghold, which clearly doesn't have any of the cobblestone in this stronghold, which was clearly placed as a way to lead the speedrunner straight to the end portal room. But wait, this end portal looks strange. Why are there only 4 frames when a normal end portal contains 12? Well, remember when the speedrunner only collected 4 pearls earlier in the run? There's no way that actually works. This next run starts with our speedrunner mining wood, making tools, and sailing in a boat, where he locates a nearby shipwreck and begins to loot. He then travels further on his boat until he locates a ruined portal, which suspiciously is already completely filled in, and he even happens to find flint and steel in the chest. And as he goes to teleport from the portal, how is he in the end? Well, it's not only impossible to take a nether portal into the end, but you can't even light a flint and steel while in the end. This next speedrunner starts off by mining wood and crafting some tools, where he then finds a nearby shipwreck where he finds some pretty good loot, except for the fact that it's impossible for obsidian to spawn in a shipwreck chest. He then uses the obsidian to complete a nearby ruined portal, where he spawns in right next to a fortress. Now after collecting his 7 blaze rods, he happens to find a bastion right next door, where he finds an abnormal amount of piglins and manages to get 4 stacks of ender pearls, which is clearly impossible. He then makes his way back to the overworld, where he digs down at a very specific block, which just so happens to drop him straight into the stronghold. And after entering the end, how has the ender dragon already lost some health? And why have all of the crystals been removed from the pillars? Let's just move on. Now, the next speedrun we're gonna be taking a look at is probably the weirdest of them all. And that is because this speedrunner doesn't try to hide anything that he does. And let me tell you, he does a lot of fake things that don't really make sense. Anyway, the run begins and we're already off to a bad start. In the bottom left corner, you can clearly see a message saying that he set his game mode to survival, implying that before he started recording, he was indeed in creative. Oh, and also, just look at the chat. I mean, he's not trying to hide anything at all. Anyway, he makes it to a desert temple and somehow already has insane gear in his inventory and even has 3 potion effects on. Like, bro, the speedrun just started. He then proceeds to enchant all of his armor, which is almost never done in a real speedrun, especially at the slow pace that he's doing it at. Now, after running a few more commands, he finds himself already in the end, and things start to get even weirder. To begin, he starts to fly around and break all of the crystals, then goes down to the center and just starts placing down an absurd amount of TNT, which is honestly completely unnecessary. To top it all off, he gives himself an insane strength effect that can most likely obliterate the dragon. And yeah, the dragon stood no chance against his speedrun cheats. Now, technically, this run could be considered over, but our speedrunner friend still wants to have some fun. So he just randomly spawns in a wither and tries to fight it. And the cherry on top of this entire speedrun is that even after we saw all of the cheats that he did, he makes sure to change his game mode back to survival before he finishes. I mean, what a great speedrun, but unfortunately, yeah, this speedrun was fake. This next speedrunner literally spawns right into a village, and then finds a netherite house right next to where he spawns. This doesn't even exist in Minecraft. Either way, he goes to loot the chest inside, and it has full netherite armor. And he even gets bedrock in survival Minecraft. Now it's time for the speedrunner to travel to the nether, but he randomly finds a hole that leads directly into a nether portal. This is so obviously fake. Once in the nether, our speedrunner finds a fake piglin and then magically gets 64 pearls in his inventory. How is this even possible? And even crazier, when he gets back into the overworld, he finds a fully lit end portal sitting out in the open. And then in the end, the speedrunner literally finds Herobrine. I guess the speedrunner then used commands because the ender dragon is dead and the run is over. The next one starts and our speedrunner spawns next to a village, where he happens to find some insane loot in his very first chest, including blaze rods, which isn't possible to spawn in a village chest. He also happens to loot a ton of obsidian. But do you notice something? The red textures around the lock of a chest clearly show that it's a trap chest, which don't spawn in villages, meaning he obviously placed this in creative. And instead of making his way to the nether portal now, he travels away until he comes to a very strange area of blocks, which was clearly tampered with by the speedrunner to build another portal. And this is made obvious when he magically spawns directly into a fortress. But the speedrunner already has blaze rods, so why would he need to be in a fortress? Because in this fortress, it happens to contain a piglin spawner instead of a blaze spawner, which obviously isn't possible in Minecraft.
Mojang removed blocks every Minecraft update, and you haven't even noticed. Like all of these, which I've added back in. So subscribe and here are 46 Minecraft blocks they had to get rid of. Number 1. Before command blocks were even a thing, teleport blocks were in an official version of the game. These blocks would instantly transport you to different ones using a menu. Home blocks would take you to your house, and spawn blocks would let you change the spawn point. Mojang removed these when making the new Education Edition, but they would have made transportation so much quicker. Number 2. Minecraft used to have these 2 textures. They clearly look like a chair and a table, and this is what they could have looked like in 3D. Weirdly, wheat used to look like this if it somehow grew more than it should. Mojang later on banned all furniture from being added to Minecraft. Number 3. When Minecraft was first being planned, Mojang were going to add spikes that extended and retracted. They would have basically been spiked pistons, but these were replaced with sticky pistons. The developer said in 2012 that they'd like to add spikes but weren't sure how they'd work. 1.17 finally added dripstone, but you can't even push the spikes. Come on, Mojang. Number 4. Doing this looks pretty cursed, but the portal block used to allow something very similar. These worked just like normal nether portals, but acted like fence posts, allowing for some nice looking designs. When portals were first added, you could place them like a full block too. It's good that Mojang removed them before someone tried to light one of these. Number 5. Back in in-dev versions, there was a house with chests containing stacks of 100 water and lava blocks. These were dangerously glitchy. Mojang even called the lava ones volcano blocks because of how deadly they were. Place one of these bad boys in your your world, and if you can't stop it, say goodbye to your precious Minecraft house. The water blocks would spread even faster, but both types could be soaked up with a bit of sponge. Number 6. Soulfire was added in the Nether update, but another soul block was completely scrapped from the game. Unused particles existed that looked just like lava particles, but blue. This means soul lava might have been found in soul sand valleys in an unreleased version. It could have been able to flow faster or dealt more damage like Soulfire does. Mojang removed it before we ever got to find out, so we just have to speculate. Number 7. This next one permanently broke entire worlds. Placing one of these would crash the game and render your hard work worthless instantly. You might think it's a normal hopper, but looking from beneath will show that it points in no direction. Luckily, the only way to place this was with the set block command, though Mojang probably should have tested it thoroughly before risking the world of anyone who just wanted to try the new hoppers. Number 8. Ice and snow can get in the way, especially with 1.17 snowier snow. So when you need to clear some away, the heat block would have been great for warming up the area, if Mojang hadn't removed it, that is. This feature was made exclusive to the Education Edition, but there's an actual reason for it. Like real-life hand warmers, the iron inside oxidizes and releases heat. There's some real-life chemistry in a Minecraft video. Number 9. This block looks like grey concrete, but it's not. It's called Reserved 6, or dot name as it was known at the time. When fire spread in Pocket Edition, sometimes it would create this block. Pocket Edition also had these two secret blocks. One says update, which would show up when a block was removed by an update but still placed in the world. The other says 8 upped, so that together they say update. Number 10. Loads of unique blocks were added in the Buzzy Bees update. Something that bees make other than honey that Mojang didn't add is beeswax. They added a texture for a wax block in a snapshot version, but it was removed because it wasn't even meant to be added. Mojang possibly tested it out, but couldn't think of a proper use for it. They should have added it in 1.17 as a crafting ingredient for candles. Number 11. Sometimes it's difficult to see where a village starts and ends, but with village border blocks, that's no longer a problem. They were seen in a demo at a convention, and the textures remained in the files for years. However, there's no footage in existence of them in action, so it's difficult to know if these were placed like redstone to trap villagers, or if they just generated naturally. The blocks would be nice on servers to confine players into a small space before a challenge starts. Please help me. Number 12. Speaking of borders, a red variant of walls called border blocks are found in the Education Edition, but not in the main game. You can't walk under them or fly over them, unless you're a teacher. These would also be great for servers, but Mojang won't let us have them for some reason. All mobs are stopped apart from the Ender Dragon, which just flies straight on through. Oh, and Ender Pearls let you escape lessons as well. Stay in school. Number 13. This one's more than just a block. It's inside a block. Beacons were going to have this little rotating cube inside, which looked like an end crystal. This had to be removed by Mojang to stop lag, since loads of enchantment tables can destroy the game. So imagine what would happen with loads of these. A blue cube inside is a bit more boring though. Number 14. What happens when the volcano blocks and water blocks from earlier collide? They make gears. Yeah, gears were in the game before redstone. You could only break them with an explosion, so they were pretty tough to remove. Breaking the block behind it would just make the gear invisible. Eventually, Mojang removed them, and every world with gears suddenly had them replaced with redstone. Number 15. You might think we've already got enough slabs in the game. A good few were removed, however. The first ever slab variant added was removed straight away. Dirt slabs were added so the terrain could be a little smoother, but it didn't work for cliffs, so the feature had to be removed. Coral slabs got shown at Minecon Earth, but Mojang removed those too. The Ethos slab was added in an April Fool's update. They worked like TNT and spawned anvils above players. Number 16. If you're greedy like me, you'll know the feeling of cake running out. What if you could just keep on eating it forever? That's what used to be possible, allowing you to create an inverted cake block. You could see inside the cake, and the appearance changed every version. For Minecraft's 10th birthday, a big white concrete number 10 was added to the top of cakes for a few days before being removed again. Number 17. Ants used to be in Minecraft. You're thinking, that's a mob, but it was actually a block. It will turn right on white concrete and left on black concrete, changing the color as it goes. The pattern seems random at first, but it will always eventually create a highway. The same April Fool's update also had netherite stairs called Swaggiest Stairs Ever, if you're looking for something a bit more silly. Number 18. Another removed block is the Zone from the 20W14 Infinite snapshot. The block is invisible and emits happy villager particles. Any mob or player that enters the Zone will get blindness 2 and poison 4 for 3 seconds. You can't use pistons to move zones or place blocks in there, but they do affect the gravity of items thrown inside. The same update also had a curse cursor block that switched colour every second, and boxes of books full of random text. What were Mojang thinking to come up with this stuff? Number 19. Signs used to be mobs. Well, sort of. When signs were first added, they looked like this. Pressing B would drop a sign and it would bounce along the ground. This was an early test, as you can see from the message that was printed on every sign. Not much point having signs if you can't write on them. Signs used to have a 15-letter limit, so writing this would cause the letters to hang off the edge. Number 20. TNT slabs are cool, but even cooler is Super TNT. This was seen in Minecraft Story Mode and was used to craft the Formidibon. Story Mode also had a few impossible banners, window blocks, and don't forget about the Wither Storm. Number 21. It feels like wool has been in the game forever. You might not know that there was a totally different block before wool was around. Cloth was the original version of wool, with colours like chartreuse, ultramarine, spring green, capri, rose, and way more. You used to use these blocks to craft cloth armour, which was renamed to leather armour when leather was added. For some reason, white cloth was one of the last ones added, and there was never any black cloth, just dark grey. Number 22. We all know that torches break in water. This can be both useful and an absolute pain. When it gets annoying, underwater torches could be the solution. They could be, but Mojang restricted them to the Education Edition. They're made with a torch and magnesium. In real life, magnesium and iron oxide create thermite, which burns underwater. So many chemistry facts in one video. You can use sodium to make blue underwater TNT too. Number 23. Speaking of torches, Mojang also added coloured torches to the Education Edition. Blue, red, purple, and green ones are made using metal chlorides. They don't even emit coloured light, so they're a bit of a scam. Torches used to burn out after a while for April Fool's 2013. They were going to burn out after the 2010 Halloween update, with lanterns replacing normal torches, but luckily this never happened. Number 24. When Mojang are making blocks, they sometimes need special textures to make it easier to test things. They left 2 of these in the files, creatively named Debug and Debug 2. Using a piston to push a bubble column in some snapshots caused Debug 1 to appear. What the symbols mean on Debug 2 is unknown, but it does look a little like this early sandstone texture. Number 25. Unlike the unique chest animation, opening a barrel only shows a dark circle. 2 secret textures for barrels were added. One shows a square hole for the barrel, and the other shows the same square but filled with fish. These were removed, but are now in Minecraft dungeons, where barrels look even cooler. Number 26. When you place a bell on the ground, it's held by 2 stone poles. These used to be made of planks. Another update secretly added versions of bells with granite, polished granite, and diorite frames, meaning that Mojang may have intended for bells to be craftable using these items. There wasn't even an andesite one, which is really odd. Number 27. The end dimension is packed full of endstone, but it used to look a lot more like this. The white cobblestone was added before endstone and was called whitestone. Mojang had to remove this and replace it with endstone, which is easier to see and just an inverted version of cobblestone. This white texture here looks like wool, but it was added in the same version as clouds, so it might have been for those. Number 28. This spawner right here is actually a chest. When a mob spawner generates in the same block space as a chest, the two combine and look like a pig spawner. It doesn't actually spawn any pigs, and the only way to access the items inside is with a hopper. There was also a version where signs and spawners had the same ID, causing this to happen. Number 29. You'd think Minecraft has enough variants of blocks with slight changes. There are 23 types of stone brick, for example. Mojang still added more to Minecraft dungeons, but won't be adding these to the main game. Some blocks are unused in that game for obvious reasons. There are loads of unique blocks, so look out for them next time you play dungeons. Number 30. Although Minecraft says it's 90% bug-free, some broken blocks have slipped through the cracks at points. This invisible block here is actually a set of stairs. They weren't very good at being stairs though, because you could walk right through them. Eventually, Mojang removed these phantom stairs and replaced them with upside down stairs. This block looks like oak planks, but it's a bit broken because clicking it drops a button. After placing it again, it looks like this. Number 31. Minecraft's biome votes from over the years have teased a bunch of new blocks that got cancelled because not enough people voted for them. 2 types of trees that Mojang mentioned were baobab trees in savannas and palm trees in deserts. The Badlands biome would have been given cacti with really cool designs, and tumbleweed blocks which somehow would have rolled. Number 32. 1.17's tinted glass blocks were originally an April Fool's joke where you could change the colour of glass but couldn't see through it anymore. This was added and removed even before stained glass existed. Also, hardened glass was added to the Education Edition. This is as blast resistant as endstone and takes 15 seconds to mine with your hand. So many new types. Number 33. You wouldn't expect vines to grow in caves. That's probably why Mojang removed this next block. These are root vines, which would have grown from the top of caves. This texture was left in a snapshot version and the vines look pretty similar to glowberries, but without the berries, or the glow. Another forgotten 1.17 feature was the calibrated skulk sensor. It looked like a semi-transparent amethyst block, but only Mojang know what it did. Number 34. When making a world in Bedrock Edition, you can still selects the old world type, which used to be the only option 7 years ago. This world used to have a unique type of block called invisible bedrock. It's totally unbreakable, just like the visible version, and would spawn around the edge of every world. When in your hand it looked like a flat stone block. Invisible bedrock got removed by Mojang because now we have border blocks. Number 35. Now this may look like a dead bush, but it's not. In the old days, the dead bush had an alternate version called the shrub. These were more similar to ferns as they dropped wheat seeds and were a pixel lower than dead bushes. Another green version was created, and the color changed based on the biome. Mojang had to remove these glitchy blocks, which also made this a little less confusing. Number 36. Is this block a dispenser, furnace, or dropper? Trick question. It's none of them, and it's about as useless as it sounds. Certain data values used to create furnaces with no direction, meaning no front either. Something more useful is the faceless jack-o'-lantern. You can tell it's not just a normal pumpkin because it glows. These were obtained in the same way, but were removed by Mojang. Number 37. Mojang actually had to remove the grass block at one point. Pocket Edition used to have this grass block that had the side texture on the bottom. It was called Block 253. Block 254 looked like this, which made the crafting table the same color as leaves. Number 38. In the old days of Minecraft, there were a few chances to see these two blocks that got removed. This one is a placeholder block that used to show up when a block tried to use a non-existent texture. It was changed to this one in 1.5 and then to this purple and black cube in 1.6. Number 39. When you open a door, it's a little awkward how it opens instantly, right? Well, Mojang wanted to make it possible for doors to turn with a nice smooth animation. These turning doors would have had no windows and been made of oak because that was the only type of door at the time. Mojang removed all references to this version of the door in 1.6 when resource packs were added. Number 40. This removed block looks pretty weird, but it was actually Mojang's first ever April Fool's prank. It used to look like this in 2011 and was called the locked chest. Opening it brought you to a page showing stuff like a name change, miner's helmet, and even a creeper saddle. You couldn't actually buy these things, luckily. Number 41. What if pistons could do this? Before Mojang removed 6-sided pistons, you could get them without even needing commands by using redstone clocks. They never really worked though. Mojang removed some other 6-sided variants of blocks, including hay bales, bone blocks, and pillars, all with textures that don't quite make sense. Number 42. The old days of Pocket Edition. This version from 9 years ago had a bunch of blocks that we don't have today. The nether reactor core, crafted like this, would generate a nether spire with mobs and items inside. Glowing obsidian would also show up. The stone cutter looked like this and was added so that the crafting menu wasn't too full. Then Mojang decided to remove it for 4 years. Number 43. Mojang have changed which blocks correspond to which note block instrument more than a few times. For example, note blocks on bones used to make a bass drum sound before the xylophone instrument was added. Any note blocks from this time period still play the bass drum and can be tuned without changing. There are a few others that do this, making for some confusing tunes. Number 44. You won't believe this, but Mojang removed Acacia stairs for one update. When 1.7 released, Acacia stairs were in the game, but you couldn't craft them because Mojang forgot to add in Acacia planks. This also meant that Acacia and Dark Oak slabs weren't obtainable either. Number 45. In 2016, the Trendy update brought us loads of futuristic items for April Fool's Day. One of these was the USB charger block. It was crafted with iron, gold, and redstone, but what did it do? It was basically a futuristic clone of the redstone block, as it would output a constant redstone signal and do nothing else. The redstone doesn't even have to go into the top of the block. Number 46. A Minecraft developer once tweeted out this image, which shows 16 types of colored planks. He asked, would this be of any use to anybody? Even though 80% said yes please, Mojang banned this feature from being in the game. Watch this video to learn more about these and other banned blocks and items. Also, I've just opened a new Discord. Links below. Subscribe!
Want to know how to get invisible armor in Minecraft? Or how to get extra inventory space super easily? Here are 38 secret things I guarantee you didn't know about Minecraft. In this super old snapshot, pumpkins have a truly crazy secret. If you spawn in pumpkin stems that have grown further than 8 stages, they'll start to turn into this weird furnace plant. This happens because the textures got totally messed up in the files, but I prefer to imagine them growing those fire flowers from Mario. In any official update before 1.8, you could use this illegal fire item to craft chainmail armor. The weirdest thing was that you couldn't even get the fire item, so it was a completely pointless craft. You can get invisible armor in Minecraft. Right now, I'm completely invisible! And all I'm wearing is this suit. To get this amazing armor, all you have to do is type this command and give yourself 100 armor points, the same as a full set of netherite armor, except totally invisible. Brown mushrooms, dragon eggs, and end portal flames all actually give off light, and the respawn anchor will slowly emit more and more light depending on how much glowstone you put into it, which I think is awesome! Zombies are pretty harmless on their own, but when there's dozens of them, they become harder to deal with. So it's absolutely terrifying that every night there's a chance of a literal zombie apocalypse spawning and attacking you and any nearby villagers. If you somehow manage to bring a hoglin through a portal to the overworld, it'll turn into a super gross-looking corrupted zoglin. These things will roam around menacingly, attacking any passive mob they see. Don't worry, mate, I'll be angry too if I look like that. They actually behave almost exactly the same as a Vindicator named Johnny, a secret mob that definitely doesn't keep me awake at night. Here's Johnny! Grandma, what? If you build an end portal in this specific way and fill the northern frames in last, the end portal will generate in completely the wrong place. If you want it to actually work, you have to place all the frames from the inside. But I think this looks way cooler. If you type flower into the creative menu, it'll only show you these ones. If you want to see all of them, you need to put a hashtag in front. For some reason though, typing hashtag blocks only shows you these 4 nether blocks. I think I'm having an identity crisis. Think mob farms are the best way to get XP? Think again! Getting achievements actually gives you experience each time you get them. So if you manage to find all the nether biomes, you'll get a nice reward of 19 levels. Speedrunner Feinberg even used this in his All Advancements world record to get the levels he needed to enchant his trident. This dude's got like 5 of my brains in there. Each block in the game has a hardness level that tells you how difficult it is to break or blow up, and it actually hides a pretty crazy secret. If stone has a hardness of 1.5 and obsidian has a hardness of 50, what do you think bedrock would have? A million? Infinity? Turns out it's actually -1. I'm sure there's some crazy nerdy code reason as to why this is, but come on, look at me. I've got no idea. Did you know there's a way to get extra inventory space instantly? Simply turn touchscreen mode on and use your number keys to put some items in the crafting grid. Then click off your inventory and you've got 4 extra slots just like that. Unfortunately, this was patched out in 1.19, but you can still use this feature in any other update. Splash water bottles seem like the most useless item in the entire game, but they're actually the only way to put yourself out in the nether. You can also use cauldrons for this, as water placed in them won't disappear in the nether. This even works the other way around, letting you place lava underwater. It's not quite as helpful though. But this isn't even the only way to get fire and water to mix. The other method requires bubble columns and fire charges. If you place a ton of soul sand in the water like this, they'll bob around in the water as if they're not just totally breaking the laws of science. Dripstone technically counts as an entity while it's falling, meaning you can grab it with a fishing rod and yank it mid-air. This doesn't have much use outside of really messing with your friends, but it also works for sand, gravel, and best of all, TNT. Back when beads were added in 1.15, there were actually 2 secret textures hidden in the files for extra honey items. The first was for a crystallized honey item, and the second was this yellow block called the wax block. These items never made it into the actual game, but it does bring the concept of crusty honey into my head, and I don't like that. Slimes can actually let you duplicate name tags. Well, technically at least. If you use one on a big slime, the name will actually pass down to the smaller ones. And since these things can't despawn anymore, you can use them to really get your message across to a friend. Oh god, there's so many of them! You see these weird little scribbles on the end crystal? It turns out if you look super closely, they actually kind of spell out Mojang. Powder snow has made mountain biomes actually kind of dangerous now, and ain't nobody got time to wear leather boots out here. But there is another way to deal with it. Next time you venture out to the snowy slopes, grab yourself a flame bow, as any powder snow you hit with a fire arrow will instantly melt and disappear. Glow lichen actually has a secret use I guarantee you didn't know about. It can actually completely block water from flowing, just the same as signs or pressure plates. But more importantly, it can do the same with lava and won't ever burn, even though it's a plant. I give up. Sea pickles are one of my favorite plants in the whole game, but a lot of people seem to forget you can place them outside of water. They won't give off light anymore and lose their little pickle stem thing, but they do make for a nice decoration or extra piece of color somewhere in your build. Oh, and you can place paintings behind them too. What's even crazier than this though is that you can also place lily pads outside of water too. Kind of. As long as the block is waterlogged, you can place them down. This means they can go on trapdoors, scaffolding, slabs, drip leads, leading to some really cursed effects. It can also be placed on ice, which is like, I guess, waterlogged? I really don't know anymore, man. Oh, and speaking of lily pads, the direction they face depends on the location of the block and not the way you look when placing them down. It changes block to block and seed to seed, meaning you can never predict which way a lily pad will face. You know how you can preload crossbows with an arrow or firework? Well, it turns out you can do this in bulk. Fill your inventory up and then spam drop and fire the crossbows to turn yourself into a literal machine gun in Minecraft. If you look closely, all of the regular tools in the game have a regular brown stick for their handle, as they're all made with overworld materials and wood. But the netherite tools instead come with a darker crimson handle, reminiscent of what a crimson stick would look like. like. It's nothing crazy, but it's cool to see the attention to detail Mojang sometimes shows. In 1.19.2, there was a glitch that allowed you to completely bypass fall damage. If you jumped from 35 blocks or higher and hit crouch at exactly the right time, you'd be able to walk away like nothing happened. Ow, it's really hard though! Obviously, we know that piglins in the overworld turn into zombified piglins, and hoglins turn into zoglins. But what do you think piglin brutes turn into? An armored zombified piglin, or some superpower mutant boss? Nope, just a regular zombified piglin. He gets to keep the axe though, so he's got that going for him, I guess. You can actually use enchanting tables as a way to catch intruders in your base. Anyone trying to snoop around and steal your items is probably going to be invisible. But the enchanting table's magical powers actually show you there's someone nearby by opening up and facing straight towards them. Grandma, what are you doing in my house? Oh, right. Every single item in the game has a shape that goes from the bottom left of the item slot to the top right, from tools to fences, name tags, and even amethyst shards. That is, except for the echo shard, which does the exact opposite and faces the other way. I love this feature because it shows that the item really is an echo of the regular items, and could even come from some strange alien world. Ever wondered what causes those creepy cave sounds to play? It's actually not random. It relies on this section of the F3 screen called Mood, that increases over time when you're underground, and decreases when you're near light. When it gets to 100%, a random cave sound will play, and it'll reset back to 0. There are actually 4 secret paintings hidden in the game files that you can't even get normally in the game. The paintings are earth, wind, fire, and water, and can only be spawned in with this command. Apparently, they were only added in to promote Pocket Edition, but I really hope they get added in fully eventually, as they're so much cooler than this. Tinted glass is the only glass block that actually drops an item when you break it normally. I guess the amethyst enchanted it with mystical powers. Most people only place carpets on, the floor, but they can actually be placed in way more places than you realize. Above string, water, slabs, buttons, other carpets, crops, and even fire. Although that one might not go too well. There are so many potions in the game now, so many that I barely even remember how to craft half of them, or any of them. But that's not an issue for this secret potion, literally called the Uncraftable Potion. As the name suggests, you can't craft it or even obtain it in survival mode. Drinking it does absolutely nothing, but it looks kind of pretty, I guess. Something you can craft that I bet you don't know about is the End Rod. I've spent so long raiding end cities for these, but it turns out you can just craft them with some chorus fruit and a blaze rod. The more you know, I guess. Tipped arrows are more useful than you realize. You can use harming arrows with a piercing crossbow to deal tons of damage to multiple mobs at a time, and even collect the arrows after. And if you hit yourself with a slow falling arrow, you'll fly super high when using a Riptide Trident, allowing yourself to float for miles with an Elytra. And speaking of Elytras, remember when firework rockets didn't exist, so we had to use punch bows to boost ourselves? Or am I just really old? You're old, son. Dad, subscribe! To mobs with their attacks, but they will push them back and get their attention. If you spread a bunch of them out in tall towers around your base, they'll totally stop any mobs from attacking you and keep you safe. And if it's players you're worried about, try swapping a snowman out for a skeleton and adding fire around it to create a truly spicy surprise for any intruders. I think the most underrated item in 1.20 is the calibrated skulk sensor. When you place an amethyst block next to it, it'll relay any signal it gets to any other nearby sensors. Using this, you can create essentially infinite wireless redstone that's only activated by certain noises in certain places. So if I eat this piece of food here, sensors will relay the signal along and teleport me using this Ender Pearl stasis machine. This will make your base literally impossible to find. You should know that if you're playing on hard mode, a door probably isn't enough to keep you safe from zombies. So instead, try placing 2 end rods like this as a door instead. You can slide through perfectly, but mobs have a really hard time. And if end rods aren't your style, this works with bamboo, different kinds of fences, and even lightning rods. So I'll be careful using these in bad weather. These do have a slight drawback though, as if you manage to anger enough mobs, they can push each other through. So for an entrance that's almost foolproof, add a line of cobblestone walls with some carpets on top. Not even spiders can get past. And for even more detail in these buildings, try using this square character to make it look like signs are nailed down. This works really well for boarding up doors and windows. You can even use spruce trap doors placed on the ground to give the effect that a door was broken down. Waterlogged stairs can be used to make tiny creeks that wind throughout your buildings. But a more practical use for them is to add water resources to your farms that you can't fall into. Animation is the best way to make any building come alive, and the absolute easiest way to do this is to hide a spore blossom somewhere. They create a bunch of these tiny little green particles that are just so pretty. Sometimes the flames from fire and campfires are just way too big, so instead try putting an armor stand below ground and lava for a much smaller and way cuter little flame. Oh, look at it, so tiny. By placing banners below stair blocks, you can make couches with cushions. This also works for beds and comfy chairs. If you want to be able to actually use your chairs, you can push a stair or slab into a minecart and you'll be able to sit in it. And if you want chairs to put outside, campfires make great benches coupled with signs and trapdoors. They also work great in log piles to add extra detail in the form of tiny little logs or sticks, as some people call them. I also like to add barrels, fences, and slabs to these to add extra detail and storage to a survival build like this. This genius hack means this water will not spill out of its little space. It looks like nothing's stopping it, but it's actually the glow lichen on the sides here that completely stops the water flowing out. It blends into a room so much better than a sign does too. Make a near invisible elevator using humble leather boots. Basically, if you have a white room, you can put powdered snow instead of a wall and use leather boots to climb up it, making your new elevator near invisible. Carpets can hide a lot of things. Hide a redstone block underneath the carpet and it will still activate when you step on it, which can then open up all sorts of contraptions without making noise like a pressure plate would. Do you want to remove the hostile mobs from your survival world? Try building a mob switch. This hack lets you do it quick and easy, just using villagers. If you trade with one, then zombify them, they won't despawn, and count toward the amount of hostile mobs in the area, so no extra ones will appear. This simple hack lets you turn minecarts into two-seaters, with speed you can control. It turns out you can actually put a boat in the minecart and have it still work. The boat can fit 2 people, and when you row it, it actually changes the speed of the minecart, letting you go faster! Check this hack that lets you fly at the side of this building. It's not a potion or a elytra, it's actually a hidden bubble stream on the other side of these honey blocks. The honey is small enough that you can still use the stream, and if you want to hide the honey, just cover them in item frames with maps on top. This farm hack is actually brilliant because even when you're not there, none of the sugar cane will fall out or despawn, because the cane is actually standing on mud. Mud is a smaller block, and items pass right through it, so using that with a hopper underneath, all the sugar cane will land where it needs to. In a snowy area, try this bouncy castle trick. Build a castle with a spot where you need to drop down. Cover the lower area with slime blocks. Cover that with snow. And when your friend drops down onto it, they'll bounce wildly out of control into whatever hazard you want. This trick is simple and classic. Chests don't open when there's a block above them, so put some obsidian on top and watch your friends slowly chip away just so they can access their tools. Sometimes the hardest part of building a hidden base is actually finding a location first, so try this sneaky idea out. Nobody ever goes into these scary water-filled lush caves, so try and take a swim down there yourself. Place a door and get to work. But come on, a regular door just isn't gonna cut it. So instead, try placing a pressure plate on the other side of a corner like this, connecting it to a piston and using an arrow to activate it. It works underwater too. Most people think underwater bases have to be super complicated and hard to build, but you can actually just chuck a bed and some chests down and it works fine, if you can hold your breath. Honey blocks are actually just a tiny bit smaller than a regular block, which means you shoot directly through them. It means you can also use them to create secret perilous pathways to your hidden base. Bonus points if you chuck some dripstone at the bottom to really make it dangerous. For some weird reasons, you can phase straight through shulker boxes if you open them in a certain way. All you have to do is stand on top of one with a roof above your head, and it'll push you down and through to whatever you've built below. Speaking of shulker boxes, they're actually invisible when you get far away enough, just the same as beds and chests. So to create your very own totally invisible base, just head up a couple hundred blocks, build a shulker box platform, place a bed, and you're golden. Nobody will ever find this. But sky bases can sometimes be a little annoying to reach, so for a super accessible and equally hidden base, try this. Head to any snowy biome and stick some scaffolding underneath a random block. Put the snow back and you've made a completely undetectable underground base, and one that looks really funny to enter too. Shoot enemies from the safety of a bunker by using dirt paths. They're actually 1 pixel shorter than regular blocks, so if you stand behind one and have a block above your head, you can see a slight gap between them, and can even shoot arrows through the gap. This other super hack can turn your regular vines into fruit-bearing plant life. Just put redstone ore behind the vines, and the color will shine through, giving a good breakup to all the green and brown. Put some berry bushes to fill out the space even more. This cool design hack lets you create a seamless transition between dirt and stone. Just use glow lichen on coarse dirt, and it looks remarkably like stone that's emerging from dirt. It's a great middle point between the two. This genius hack shows that